Today, for the first time since owning this tractor, it will be set up for me the right way. And we're going to test it out. It's initiation day. Can it enter into the fraternity? The Farmall Fanatic Fraternity. Boom! Oh, people have been asking me for hats for a long time, and truth be known, I'm just going through some prototypes. When the new ones come in, I'll show you those. I like those a little bit better, the design of them. But yeah, that's first right out of the gate. All right, some more hats come in. Got some flex fit. Got a snapback. Got a trucker cap. And got a snapback. And I got these two bolts out. Just one on each side. It's no real big deal at all. But I think what I'm going to do is just take this whole housing off. That way I can clean the faces up real good and all that good stuff. They're not calling for any gasket type sealer or anything like that. Just a gasket. You know, just a gasket goes a long way. Got me something for the front of this. Dink, dink, right there. And I'm just in the process of slapping some 2150 on there. Top side's dry. That's the bottom. It curves down. All right, just took the top hose off. This is just all one piece. I mean, it separates right here, obviously, but yeah, and you can see, sure enough, right behind there, ain't no gasket. I mean, and it's not like, well, maybe the old gasket just petrified so much that it doesn't seem to, no, there's nothing there. So I got to clean this surface, and then put the gasket on. So that's disconnected down there. This should pull right out one piece. Yeah, there's clearly nothing there. Oh, did that go in the non-existent bucket? Yes, it did. And there's your thermostat right there. So he is running one. Now, I rescind. I withdraw my former statement of there being no gasket. But I come up with a new statement in that this is the original gasket from 1954. That ain't good. That'll leave a mark and stuff. So yeah, it's actually worse that there is a gasket on there. There's more cleaning to do. I mean, that's got most of it off, but this right here, I'll just wire brush that off. Well, yeah, I think I got that surface pretty clean, actually. We're right down to the silver, and then I'm gonna get that thermostat and just take this apart. Man, they're so easy to work on. It's so nice, and just, I can't say enough about these antique tractors, man. It just, I like working on them just as much as I do running them, and I know that sounds crazy, but then that's what I am, and I'm willing to be. But yeah, let's get this apart here. Well, I had two choices: reinstall it or put it in a vise. What's your advice? My advice is put it in a vise. It's easier. Well, I think what happened here was it was paint welded. Got the old mini blue wrench out, put her to it, and now it's getting loose. Loose as a goose, so I can get a working thermostat in there. I think it's stuck open, and that's why it wasn't heating up. And I wouldn't doubt that same thing on my H, but I wouldn't doubt with the H there's not even a thermostat in there. Well, I'm looking at this 170, and I'm looking at this thermostat going, wow, that's back when they made them.
Up all kinds of...
Peeling this,
yeah,
what is left of a gasket. I mean, it's tissue paper thin. Thin as a thistle. And I tell you what,
right.
That sucker too light to fight and too thin to win, but the truth be known,
no,
it didn't leak up top here.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
The fact that even though it's rusty, it'll settle.
yeah,
But I'm
check
sure the
that out.
bottom of that
Yeah.
tank had all kinds of
Lo and
nonsense
behold,
in it.
must have been the previous owner to the previous owner. Had him a gasket in there, but yeah, I don't know. It's missing a
Yeah.
spot. Some of it stuck. No big deal. This is this is the fun part
Yep.
of Farmall tractor ownership
So,
for sure.
oh,
You gotta love it, or you ain't gonna be able to do it. And you're gonna spend a lot of money paying somebody else to do this stuff.
okay.
That is for certain.
All right, we'll end the voiceover. You see, I'm willing to bet that's the original, 1954. I am willing to bet. Maybe changed once, but there ain't nothing to it. I mean, it's thin as a thistle. And I'm surprised it didn't leak up here. And the only place it did leak was it leaked right here. Right here was my leak spot. But I've pretty much cleaned this up respectably. I will throw it again on a wire brush, but I think I put maybe just, it doesn't call for it, but you can see some pitting in here. And I think I put just a little bit of gasket maker on there just to fill in that pitting. And I think good to go. Yep, the old Permatex Forma gasket right there. That's, you know, and again, the book doesn't call for it, but the book doesn't call for a pitted face either. So, all right, running a tap in here, cleaning them out inside there. You can see, maybe, and that's cleaning it out. Doing it right.
Be good and shiny.
Dynamite. This one's back when they made real thermostats. Yeah, just, I don't know. You could tell this is just a little cheaper. By all rights, you should go in and, they say boil it, but not really boil it. Just get it to where it's sitting at 160, 170, and make sure these open before you install them. I'm gonna roll the dice, man. I do not recommend doing that at all, because you're gonna have to peel it all back down again. And this is what I use here for the thermostat gasket. It's gasket maker, water pump and thermostat housing. New gasket. Most people just make their own. I found it just as easy to order it, considering I had to wait on the thermostat anyways. It only made sense to me. Put a little on that side, layer on down, put a little on that side. Of course the thermostat's in there at that point in time, but you get the drift. I suppose there's always a few. If you get thousands of views, there's always going to be somebody that has never done this before, but it's not extremely difficult. Probably the hardest thing is not getting this all over your hands, and I usually don't succeed at doing that. I don't cake it on, but I don't go super duper thin either. You want to do it once, and you want to do it right. And then once it's right, you can say, dynamite, welcome back, Copper. Outside here. Put this sucker on there upside down. How are we gonna play that? There we go. Oh crap. Of course I dropped one. Just grade 5s. Keep the drive alive. And you can see, like here there's pitting. I mean, this is really old, right? So there's gonna be pitting and stuff around this, and I will throw some Permatex on there as well. The right stuff. Using the right stuff means you're doing it the right way. I will tighten them once this is on there, but until that time frame, I want them tight right now. New gasket, and some of it's coming out, and that's fine.
And there's your new thermostat right in the housing. 160, down from 170. That's a weight loss of 10 pounds. And this side's where the leaking was, and that's actually looks like the better side now that I've cleaned it. So, yeah, I think we go slap this on there and go for broke. I got the housing in there. You can see some of the gasket maker down there. Like I say, on this gasket here, most people do not put the Permatex on that, only where the thermostat is itself, but this is pitted enough and it was leaking bad enough. Of course, again, with the new gasket and the Permatex, I think that's going to make a massive difference. Well, here's the old belt, and I don't think I need to get too close to the camera to show you how bad it was, because was is definitely a fact. And there's, but anyways, this is the old generator belt, 33¼ inches, and I was probably an inch loose, so I need to bring it in probably a ½ inch. And yes, H Turbo, I'm using a link belt. I've had a lot of luck with these over the years, especially with alternators. They use them to run heavy machinery, but when I look at this end to end, it's actually, I think I need to, well, no, because I'll actually lose about a ½ inch when I tighten it up. So let's throw the link belt on there. See if we can get our ½ inch of movement. Well, I got the belt on, the link belt, and I'd say there's about a ½ inch of movement through there. It's not a load-bearing belt. All this thing needs to do is cling onto that alternator, and you know, the tabs themselves are the V, and it's a ½ inch link belt, and it is red. But I don't know. I don't think it's going to work any worse. Some of you are going to call it a temporary solution to a long-term fix or problem, but I don't know. I don't know. They run machinery off these things, so I'm sure it can run an alternator on a little 50 horsepower tractor. Well, I got the housing all put back together. You can see the Permatex coming out, and that's always a good sign. Clamps are tight. This hose, I do not know what I did with, so I had to put the old one back on. Truth be known, not trying to hide anything, but yeah, all the belts are good. Like I say, there ain't a whole crap ton of movement on there. You just want to make sure your tabs are going with the roll, not against it. And I'll show you that right here. So obviously the tabs stick out like that. You just don't want to roll against them. You want to roll this way, not this way. So, yeah. And that makes your V. These little tabs that stick out form your V. So I think we're at the point in time where everything's buttoned back up again. New belts on. New thermostats in. Let's put some fire in a hole. Paint to burn off here over the next couple days. Now you hear a little skipping. I gotta clean out that sediment bowl and the screen, and then we'll be good. So I mentioned putting a new PTO cover on, and what happened? It comes in along with the brake springs. I just ordered 2, but I noticed something. He must have hit something with this over there because this tab is bent down. So I need to take that off of there and straighten it out and then reinstall it. Not a big job, just letting you know. That's better. Well, that looks better. Yep, that'll work for me. See, this is a whole different beast right here, okay? That's tank rust. And That's probably a video in and of itself. As hard as this bull pulled off the petcock itself, this ain't been off of here in a while. Tractor was neglected. You know, it just was. I think you've seen enough videos now that I don't have to convince you of that. But yeah, get this cleaned up and pull the screen and hope for the best. So that's cleaned out. That'll give a good baseline which to go by. You know, you get out in the field and start working it hard, that'll really jostle that tank up and let you know what's going on. I may end up putting an inline filter in it just to save the car. I think I got it pretty tight. Also, that skipping that you were hearing before, it's pretty much gone. Well, there it goes a little bit. And that could be timing. But I don't know. I think all systems are go. Let's check the belt. Yeah. Turning good. Got about a half to 3/4 inches of movement on the belt. Now these do stretch, so it may come to the point where I have to check on it and remove a link and tighten it up. That's the only downfall of these. I guess all belts stretch, but these stretch, take it to another level. Yeah. Well, before I put the sheet metal back on this, I am going to grease it up. Water pump, rear axles. I think there's like 40 Zerk spots on this tractor, and they all call for a different time frame, so many hours. I'm not worried about that at all, because I can tell you there's paint over top of a lot of these Zerks, so it ain't been over greased right on down to these here. So yeah, we're gonna dig right into this, and that water pump, it needs some love. This entire tractor, other than engine oil, coolant, calls for Hytran. Yes, even in the rear end, just like the 56 series. The entire 756 pretty much runs on this stuff, and this tractor calls for it too. They had problems when they weren't running Hytran, and obviously being hydraulic fluid, I got the cap off of this, and I'm going to top this off. Now, again, I've never used these hydraulics. Generally speaking, when you back up to a set of discs or something that requires lifting at the rate of something heavier than, you know, maybe a 3-bottom plow, and you can't do it, generally, you either got a shop pump or you're low in fluid. 90% of the time, maybe more, it's a fluid situation. So I'm gonna add fluid so I don't have to get to the field and feel like a druid. Okay, to the best of my knowledge, at this point in time, we're ready for the field. Tractor is field ready. Everything's been greased. I don't know what to say other than let's go, let's grow, or blame a viewer. H-Turbo might be on the hook for the belt. I don't know yet. I haven't read his reply, if he's going to reply, but he may be taking the blame if the belt don't work. I tell you, they stretch, so you got to settle them in pretty good. And you know, like I say right there, there's probably half to 3/4 inch movement. I think we're a go. I really do. I definitely am going to address the sediment bowl situation, and that will be a video in and of itself. Because yes, as many of you that have owned these tractors over the years and know more than I do, there are plenty just buying them that need to know the little stuff. All right, I think we throw the sheet metal on, and I got a new smoke pipe for it. Now, this is a John Deere 5010, okay? Admittingly, it's probably a hair too big for the mason jar that I have. This is a 64th. These things were known to go wheelie up, so it may be gonna do a wheelie up in the mason jar too. You know what I mean? New muffler. I couldn't take the old dented one, I just couldn't. Not on this nice of a tractor, so. Yeah, let's see how it fits on the exhaust pipe. Look at there. Match made in Farmall land. If the glove don't fit, you must have quit, but The rain cap fits, but it don't really match. I won't tell if you don't tell. Bloop. And yes, I'll have it facing right at me, so all that exhaust can go right in my face. Hopefully there's no particles. New manifold? Shouldn't be. But you never know. Well, it's on there. Not matching? I don't care. It go in the field. New stuff. Alright, now we need to get the clamp on there. We set. I'll tell you one thing, there's going to be a cleanup on aisle 9 when this tractor comes out of here. This little build, I made a mess. Cleanup on aisle 9er. Breaker 19er. How about that Farmall Fanatic? You buy the channel? I am the channel. Beep, beep. Now, I ain't real concerned truthfully about the color right now, because once this goes through a couple of heat cycles, I'm going to bring it in, peel it back down, and retorque those manifold nuts. So back to 50, and then I'm done. By cracky, I think we got it. I can't think of one other thing. Antifreeze is good. 2 1/4 inches from the filler neck. Throat, neck, whatever. And I think we go for broke. I will order a new sediment bowl assembly, like I say, tonight. We get the air filter on there now. I still have to put the John Deere tractor in. But yeah, everything else looks good. All right. There's something in there, but it ain't a John Deere tractor. That old 50-tenner. A big fat header. It does fit. It ain't gonna have to do a wheelie like in real life. It does a wheelie pulling like 2 bottoms. That's what I'm talking about. Now we're ready. Good and ready. That should make some people feel good. You know the routine. Regulators mount up. Woo! Now I'm in the saddle. Temperature gauge is starting to work. Filter's working. John Deere's a shaking, and Farmall's a baking. It's a nice warm day out today. The old Charlin power steering unit. Woo. Liberating is this. Just sounds good too. Always a bonus. I've been waiting for this day for a long time, man. Even before I owned one. Oh, this pulled the coupe with ease, man. I mean, it's not even really set up. Like there's no rear wheel weights. The tires aren't loaded, nothing. I just put it in first gear and went. And then, of course, I pulled the TA back because you have to. It's an MTA. But boy, I pulled that easy. I mean, good grief. And there's the red belt. H turbo. Now, I get the credit if it works perpetually. All right. Dynamite. Oh, I'm going to pull the plug on this video. I know you don't want me to, but it's getting a little long in the tooth. Whoo! That's liberating right there, pulling that Koopski. It's initiated. The MTA is officially in the Farmall Fanatic fraternity. Boom! Next video, SMTA, all action. I promise.